Hey, what's going on, everyone? Lauren Sisler here with AL.com. Welcome into our Week 7 SEC Insider brought to you by All South Appliance. And today I'm hanging out here in this beautiful showroom off of Lakeshore Parkway in Birmingham, Alabama. Need some new appliances or maybe even just an upgrade? They have got you covered. Gianna Hahn also has us covered, joining me now from Auburn to break down Auburn's blowout win over LSU 48-11. So, Gianna, were you there at the stadium on Saturday? Were you there covering the game? I just want to ask you that first and foremost because I never know where you guys are at.
Yeah, me, Joe, and Tom were all there.
Woo, you had the whole party there. Out of the gates, wow. Okay, so Auburn, historic performance, 37-point margin, most ever in history of Auburn LSU by either team playing since 1901. So, just kind of breaking that entire performance down, just your initial thoughts on sort of what you saw unfold. And I think to some, pretty impressive considering the spread and just the thought that LSU could come in there and really just do pretty much nothing.
Yeah, I'll openly admit I put down LSU as a win. I wasn't sure what Auburn was going to show. I didn't really consider the fact that they were going to be at home, and the team, especially Bo Nix, always plays better at home. So I probably should have thought about that better. But no, they just look so much more put together. I know LSU's defense hasn't been the best this season, but I love the one quote that Bo Nix said where he was like, they're national champions. They don't just get bad in one year. Granted, they lost a lot of people, but it was still like a decent team that they beat. And all these little things that they said they were going to have to work on, they actually did work on and fix, which I think is just a good sign moving forward. But no way did I expect a 48-11 win. So that definitely surprised me. It made writing a little bit easier because I knew who was going to win well before the game ended. So.
Yeah, and of course, 48-11. It was October 31st, Halloween. So a little trick or treat, lots of treats for Auburn. And we'll start off with this play, the scoop and score from Christian Tutt, that really, I think, set the tone out of the gates. Let's take a look.
They're down at 6. Trouble from behind. The ball is out. And Auburn scoops it. And they're still going with it. This is going to be a touchdown for Christian Tutt.
How about that? Big time turnover, sets the tone. Just talk about the defense and just their performance and how they really capitalized and took advantage of some of the flaws in LSU's offensive performance.
Yeah, so Derek Hall, who was credited with the strip sack on that play, actually just won SEC Defensive Player of the Week. So that's just in. But they were – what's the right word? They were flustering the quarterbacks so much. Like they've been talking about how they want to improve their pass rush, and they really did. That was one of the things that I was thinking of when I mentioned that they have things they want to work on, and they did. So they were just affecting the quarterback. Even when they weren't sacking him, they were just in his face, a lot of quarterback hurries, a lot of just like scrambling quarterbacks. They try to figure out what's going on because there's so many Tigers just coming at them. I guess I should say Auburn players because they're all Tigers. But yeah, so that was just like really impressive. And of course, there were the interceptions. Big Cat Bryant now has 2 career interceptions, which is great for a defensive lineman. And then of course, Igbenogany. He has more.
It's okay. Igbenogany.
Sorry, I'm tripping over my words today. And then Nehemiah Pritchett almost carried one for a pick 6, so that was really good as well. But it really came back to that pass rush. They were just affecting that quarterback. And Derek Hall, he had 2 sacks, which is why he won that award. And it was just overall a good day. And one thing that I really noticed was Coach O also was a little bit dumbfounded by how well the pass rush did. He was like, why couldn't we run the ball? Because we just couldn't block them. So he was also quite impressed.
So big performance for Bo Nix. You talked about it. Hasn't performed as well on the road, of course, last week against Ole Miss. And things looked a little different for him in terms of his road performance. And the big question coming into this, can he carry that momentum back into Jordan-Hare Stadium? And I think the answer was, of course, yes, 18 of 24, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. just your overall takeaways from his performance and what he was able to accomplish in this big win over LSU.
Yeah, so he finished with 381 yards, 300 passing, 81 rushing. That's 10 yards less than what he finished with against Mississippi State when he had 391 yards. But Gus Malzahn told Bo, I think that this was actually your best performance. I mean, 10 yards isn't that big in the grand scheme of things, right? So they're pretty much even. But when you consider how much more calm, how much more confident, how much more comfortable he looked in that pocket, that's what really stuck out. He had a few misfires early on. He had a few kind of panics, throwaways, or scrambles, but that was only happened like really early, and then he started to calm down. He stayed in the pocket, which is something that people have been criticizing him for, is how he just is really quick to just escape, but he actually sat back, let plays develop. And then, of course, that 91-yard play, he just placed that perfectly in Anthony Schwartz's hands. And that's something they've been trying to run away with on like throughout the season. There have been so many, and he's overthrown him several times, but they connected perfectly. And he didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter beyond that one play. So I think that says a lot. And after the game, he was so happy. You could just tell he was speaking so fast, so animated, talking with his hands. It was really good to see after so many disappointments through the season. He really seemed to have got it together. And of course, his wide receivers stepped up for him. Eli Stove has been super, super reliable. He had 5 receptions for 64 yards. Schwartz has been reliable, but of course he broke out that big play. And then, as Gus said, Seth did his normal. Even though he didn't have over 100 yards, he still put up 71 yards, and he had Derek Stingley covering him. So just very, very good performance all around by the passing game, and balanced out by the running game, and Bo Nix is at the home. So
yeah, no doubt. And Bo Nix is passed Anthony Schwartz for 91 yards, worth mentioning, third longest passing play in Auburn history. Pretty impressive there. Okay, we're going to wrap things up. October 9th, I guess it was announced, October 9th, KJ Britt had his thumb surgery. And the thought process, Gus Malzahn had talked about it before, that he thought that he would be back before the end of the season. KJ Britt, such a tremendous leader on this football team, a tremendous leader on and off the football field. His presence is certainly known. Kevin Steele told me before that Auburn-Arkansas game what a loss that is for the team, because he really is like the coach out there. Sometimes he's the one that's out there coaching up the defense and is just such a tremendous voice for that team. So Matt Zenitz, one of our SEC insiders, had an update from that. He tweeted out that KJ Britt, after the thumb surgery, what he's been able to gather, the expectation is the 6-week mark is sort of what they've been eyeing in terms of his recovery and rehab period. And then he should be back for the last couple of games in the regular season, including the Iron Bowl. So, Gianna, just your thoughts on KJ Britt and how big it is to get someone like that to really help to boost this defense that we saw obviously have a tremendous performance this past weekend, but can only help them, especially if they're able to get him back before the Alabama game in the Iron Bowl, that second to last regular season game.
So think about it. The linebackers are supposed to be one of the strongest position groups coming into the season. Of course, Chandler's gone, and then KJ gets hurt. But Zacoby and Owen have stepped up so much. They're like, Zacoby McClain is leading the SEC in tackles. So just imagine what that will be like to then add KJ Britt back into the rotation. So that's just something I just considered, and I was like, wow, that's going to be dangerous. But you're right. His contribution isn't just on the field. He's such a team leader. He is like a coach. And so they started bringing him on the sidelines, whether it's home or away. And the players all say that makes just such a difference, having him there, correcting them, encouraging them, being able to share both like the wins and losses with him. It just makes such a difference. And so, and I know I talked to his mom as well, and he really gets that from his parents. They feel very strongly about supporting the team, whether their son's on the field or not. So that entire family really means something to this program. And I know Auburn will be more than happy to get him back.
No doubt about it. We'll, of course, have the updates on that as they become available. Gianna, we appreciate it. Auburn on a bye week this week, so I know that you'll enjoy a little bit of a break this week as well. And we appreciate you so very much. And, of course, we appreciate our sponsor, All South Appliance, proud sponsor of SEC Insider inviting you to visit us online at myallsouth.com or at any one of our showrooms, as I'm sitting in here off of Lakeshore Parkway in Birmingham. Beautiful showroom, my first visit here. They've also got several locations across the state of Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida.